I'm going to call the Danville City Commission special call meeting. Today is Monday, the 22nd of 2021. It's 4 o'clock p.m. We have one item on the agenda. It's a zone change recommendation for 0 Shakertown Road. Mr. Hunter, I'd like to ask you to present to us to start the meeting off.
Sure.
Sir?
You should have the staff report, Planning Commission's recommendation at your seat. I have my PowerPoint if you need it. The slides can be put on the screen. I wasn't anticipating putting them up there, but if you need them, or at some point during this meeting we need them, we can put them up there. But I'm going to just refer to the staff report, and I'm going to actually do this in a pretty quick summary fashion to save time.
Yes, sir.
So with that, I'll just jump to page 1 of the staff report and mention that we had a public hearing on January 27th, 2021. There was actually 2 applications filed, a future land use map amendment as well as a zone change request. The applicant was Kentucky Lodging and Development Incorporated. Location of the property was 0 Shakertown Road. Property size was 5 acres. The current future land use map designation was low density residential. The applicant was actually proposing a flume amendment to mixed use residential. The current zoning is agriculture, and the proposed zoning change request was general business. The applicant submitted a development plan that's pretty much outlined on page 10 and 11 of your staff report. I won't go through that general development plan. It had 9 items. On the floor of the Planning Commission that day, that general development plan was amended to 11 items, and the site plan, conceptual plan, was kind of revised as part of that hearing. And again, that made the total conditions at 11, and I think you have those revised conditions and that revised exhibit as part of your packet. So with that, I'm just going to kind of read the motion that the Planning Commission ended up with. Initially, the future land use map request was denied 5-2 as a precursor to the zone change request and motion. And the applicant at that point, when the future land use map is denied, can withdraw the zone change, or if they choose, they can move forward with the zone change and still try to prove compliance with the comprehensive plan. In this case, the applicant, after the flume amendment was denied, requested that the zone change application continue, and then I'll read you the motion of that. So the Planning Commission made a motion to deny the proposed zoning map amendment together and conditioned on the general development plan conditions. Based on the testimony and the documents presented in the public hearing, the proposed zoning map amendment is not consistent with the adopted 2017 comprehensive plan as demonstrated by its noncompliance with the following items. It is not consistent with the future land use map. The motion included the summary of the evidence and testimony presented by the witness at the public hearing. Additionally, Commissioner Jim Boyd incorporated the following into the motion. The proposed amendment is inconsistent with the future land use map, with the comprehensive plan's goals and text. Specific comprehensive plan inconsistencies include the failure to preserve green space, creating additional access onto an arterial road, as well as not promoting a safe, effective transportation system. Furthermore, the proposed rezoning is incompatible with the adjacent agriculture and educational uses. That motion was approved. Again, that was a motion to deny by a vote of 5-2 to forward to the City Commission a formal recommendation of denial. And I'll leave it with that and be glad to answer any questions you might have. And again, we've got all the exhibits if you need any technical exhibits put up there.
I'm going to make a motion for denial so we can discuss it.
All right. Is there a second?
Are you by denial?
Upholding the
Planning
planning zoning's findings.
Okay.
Whatever that is.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay.
After further review.
Further
Had to
review.
go under the tent for that one.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second, so the chair will declare is open for discussion. Is it Mr. Bolton? Yes, Bowman. Brian Bowman. Okay, if you want to speak to the commission?
I would like to thank you all for having me here. I'm standing in for Mr. Dexter on, thank you, Ashley. Standing in for Mr. Dexter on this issue before the commission. So when a planning commission recommendation comes to you, and I know you all know that, but pardon me, let me just kind of go
Yes,
over
sir.
it all again in detail. So the recommendation comes to you from the planning commission. It's merely a recommendation. If this body does not act within 90 days, or if this body somehow ends up in a tie, then the recommendation from the planning commission is what becomes final. The 90 days is triggered from when the planning commission delivers this to you, so it's not triggered from the date of the hearing, so there's still ample time to address it. So it comes to you as a recommendation, and this body has three options about what it can do. It can elect not to hear anything further, but then review the record before the planning commission on its own. And so basically, the record's closed, no one else can speak on it. You all will spend time individually in study of it, review the entire record. I know there's a video of it, so each of you would then watch that video, come back together, and then make your decision or deliberation or whatever it may be. That's at kind of one end of the options. The other end of the options is basically you do everything all over again. It becomes a brand-new fact-finding hearing. You would hear witnesses. Obviously, those witnesses would be subject to examination. You would hear, I know in this situation, there were several individuals who spoke in opposition to it, so you would hear from them again, and everyone would testify under oath. The third option, which is the one that's kind of in the middle, is what's called an argument-style hearing. It's unfortunate it's called that because it's not supposed to be antagonistic by any means, but how that would play out in this situation, I believe, is the attorney for the applicant would kind of argue his case to you, present his side, to try to persuade you as to why the zone change should be done. You still would have the record from the planning commission in front of you. So you will have read it, you would have heard the witnesses, watched the video as well, and then you give the attorney the opportunity to kind of sum up the evidence to make his case. If you wanted to, you could put a time limit on that. I don't want to throw one out, but maybe you have 15 minutes, you have 20 minutes, something like that to kind of state your case. And at the same time, for those who were opposed to the zone change, I believe there was an attorney for them below, and you could put a process in effect that would allow that attorney to come in and speak for those in opposition. Or there may be other individuals who want to speak, and perhaps you'd put, if you all have time limits on your public comment, you know how that works, and then the little egg timer goes off and the buzzer rings. But, you could put those parameters in place. If you need to do it electronically, I think probably somebody a little better tech whiz than I can figure that out, and you can do that as well. So those are kind of your three options about how you review this matter. You stop the record as it is and just review it on your own, come back together, deliberate at that point. You redo the whole hearing, or you take that middle approach by just hearing people advocate for what's there. If you take that middle approach, you can't hear new evidence. So someone may come in and say, hey, I need to tell you what happened last week out there. No, that's outside of the record. If that were something extraordinary, there's a way to redo the whole process, but you've not had an event that I know of that would trigger that. So those are kind of the three options. If you do the fact-finding option, that's going to trigger new notices under the statute. Those have to be posted, which is fine. That's easy enough to do, but that's just kind of one little caveat to that. And whatever it is, we'll set it on a schedule. But that's what will be my recommendation for tonight, is pick which of those three options you want to do, and then so we all know, and so the public knows, we'll go ahead and calendar those items. That would be my recommendation.
Commissioners, you have any questions for Mr. Hunter or for Mr. Bowman?
So the motion made was to accept the recommendation from planning and zoning,
Right.
Which
Right.
is to deny the zone.
which
zone
is
change.
to deny the zone change.
Right.
So if we accept that, then we're done. Correct?
Maybe.
If you want to have no hearing, that's fine, but I think before you could vote, you need to review the record.
We've already had that.
Yeah.
We've already had
Yeah,
a 2-week window
Yeah.
for that.
I'm sorry?
We've already had a 2 weeks window to do that. That's already been done by all of us.
Yeah.
And then, so then what you would do is you would put on the record that you all have reviewed everything and state that affirmatively so everyone understands that. The attorney for the applicant has reached out and requested the opportunity to be heard. I haven't heard from any citizens. Based on my understanding of the case, I'm sure several of them would want to be heard as well. Just I think logic tells us that. So, for folks that want the opportunity to be heard, that's something you all can consider as well.
Commissioner Cottle, have you reviewed everything also?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was there,
I was there.
and I've also
Very thorough.
reviewed.
Well,
It's all right here in front of us.
to me, it comes down, if you don't amend the FLUM, then you can't really do the zone change, in my mind, anyway. I guess is that correct, or?
It's a criteria that gets weighted. The statute says the planning commission must find that the zone change request complies with the comprehensive plan. The future land use map is a component of that comprehensive plan, as well as hundreds of pages of other things. The planning commission's motion to deny was specific that it did not comply with the future land use map, as well as goals and objectives and other policy directives. So the applicant, to be fair to them, when they went forward, felt that they could still show compliance with the comprehensive plan, absence of showing compliance with the future land use map. And that motion was, the planning commission then voted to deny the zone change request.
I would
So when
think-
a map amendment is to be made, it's typically done by ordinance. If the map amendment is rejected by local legislative bodies, that doesn't have to be done by ordinance, but it still should be done in writing with a resolution that's written up. And obviously, I'm happy to prepare that if that's the direction that you all want to give me. And so that resolution would just note that each of you individually have reviewed the record. I know two of you said you were there, so you were present at the planning commission.
Or
hearing in
watching.
Yeah,
January.
and
And I was
he
there by
watching.
Zoom.
You were watching by Zoom?
Yes, sir.
And I've also reviewed
Yes.
the minutes and those types of things since then as well. But
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that Commissioner Cottle had done that also.
So you would be directing us to prepare the ordinance affirming the recommendation by planning and zoning?
That would be what I would recommend. I
Yes,
know we had
that's,
to vote on it.
and
but
then we would bring that to the next meeting and then submit that to you.
And
And just to correct that, it would probably be a resolution, not an ordinance, because of an ordinance, you'd have to have two readings.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
It, just a, sort of my reasoning is the criteria required for approval of a future land use map. I don't think this project necessarily meets any of those, honestly. Has to be an overriding public benefit, correct an inconsistency, or it's clearly compatible with the existing surroundings and the development. And I don't think it hits the mark on any of those personally. So,
Other
And-
comments or questions? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I know for me, the Planning Commission's hearing was probably one of the most thorough I've ever seen. We heard from the Dollar General attorney for probably 30 minutes. We heard from the public from over an hour. So because it was so thorough, I felt like we got all of our questions answered and received the information we need.
And I'll do that, and I'll note that this body elects not to have any new hearing, that you've all individually reviewed the record. We'll affirm that, and we'll draft that up in a resolution for your next meeting.
Do we need to carry his motion to direct you all to do that?
Well, so that's what will be part of the resolution. So
we need to vote.
Yes.
if we formally put it on the table, then just next time, as a matter of procedure, you'll need a motion to bring it off the table, and then have the written resolution, and you can vote on it at that time. So I think what my recommendation would be to have a motion to lay the current motion on the table, and then procedurally, you can lift that next time.
A motion to lay his motion to deny, to agree with denial. So the chair will entertain a motion to,
Well, I'll withdraw my motion then, and we'll go back to table it, correct? Or,
Well, if it's withdrawn,
it's the same thing, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's the same. So we accept your withdrawal and the withdrawal of the second?
Commissioner Terry will withdraw her second.
And so the commission would like to direct staff to write up a resolution that shows that as a commission, we support and uphold the planning and zoning's recommendation to deny.
We'll take care of that.
So we don't need a motion for that?
No, that's Fine, that's direction. That's sufficient for now. We'll bring the resolution to you.
I'm just a
And
little
tr-
confused because
Correct. Traditionally,
previously, when we have done zone changes, we make a motion to accept or deny the planning and zoning recommendation, and we vote on it, and that
To-
initiates the process.
to direct staff to
Right.
draft the resolution in this
So-
case. Right. You can do that.
That's kinda what we were doing.
Technically is not required, I don't think. We have always done that before we drafted the resolution, but you don't.
If it'll make you feel better, we can do it.
Well, I would kind of feel better doing our original motion.
You can make the motion directing us to do,
All right.
to draft
All
it,
right, all right. What-
My
affirming.
concern was just that before you all voted on that everyone had reviewed the record in full. So
Yes,
I didn't
sir.
want you
Yes.
making,
Yeah.
any one of you voting without having the opportunity to have
Yeah.
thoroughly reviewed everything. But
Yeah.
if each of you affirmatively states that you will, then
Yeah.
that will make me more comfortable.
Well, we
Well,
have done
we
that, but
have.
we also received our packet last Friday. We've had the chance over the weekend to review the enclosures that Mr. Hunter was referring to over the weekend as well.
And there's a video of the hearing too, which I
Yes.
think you've all seen
Yes.
as well.
Unfortunately, you're right.
Watch live.
So, I mean, you're the chair of this meeting.
Well, but the chair is at the liberty of the entire
I
body.
just was confused. I apologize.
Okay. So, If-
So my preference and recommendation would be you let me prepare it in writing.
okay,
That way,
Okay.
what's said orally, it may, if you don't like what's in my resolution, it's your all. So we can change it and wordsmith it and add to it and take it away next time.
okay. I think we're good.
Sounds good.
So the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn the special called 4:00 PM meeting.
Second?
I didn't
that
make it,
your
I said I
vote?
entertained one,
That
no, I
wasn't
didn't make it.
So Kenny made that motion.
I'll second.
Two.
Commissioner Holland made the motion, Commissioner Terry second. Commissioner Cottle second. All those in favor for adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, just stay seated. Thank you.